In the news this week, 2 years have passed and nothing has been done. A Labour MP justifies why he went public as one of Perth's beloved beaches continues to erode.
Also tonight, what's the realistic timetable for building the new Juvenile Detention Centre? Peter Kennedy's Take of the Week. Royal Show success as thousands flooded de Claremont Showground to wrap up Perth's beloved carnival. And later, Dr Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loom and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. As one of Perth's favourite northern beaches continues to wash away, local MP Paul Leeburn has had enough. He accused the City of Stirling in Parliament of ignoring a community petition despite hundreds of signatures. After 2 years, the limestone seawall intended to permanently combat coastal erosion is yet to be built at Waterman's Bay. Paige Reid spoke exclusively with Mr Leeburn after he escalated the matter.
Korean Labour MP Paul Lilliburn says the sandbag wall that currently sits at Waterman's Bay is no longer serving its purpose, as now it is doing more harm than good. Lilliburn says the City of Stirling now have a legal obligation to remove the sandbags and come up with a more permanent solution.
And the legal advice that I've received from the Department of Planning is that the City of Stirling have the legal responsibility to begin the construction of a permanent seawall to protect the residents.
Petitions to fix the solution reached 270 signatures, with the locals in the area agreeing that a solution needs to be found before another bad storm hits. The City of Stirling put the sandbag wall in place 30 years ago to combat the storm that was currently taking place. However, 30 years ago, they are yet to come up with a permanent solution.
The Minister for Planning, the Honourable John Carey, said that the City of Stirling must begin the process of building this wall. If the City of Stirling, in your question, refuses to progress this further, I assume the state government and myself will move with other measures that could ensure that progress for the protection of this sand and beautiful beach begins.
The Mayor of the City of Stirling, Mark Irwin, says he is disappointed at Liliburn's decision to escalate things. Irwin says over the years the City of Stirling have done many things to combat the coastal erosion at the bay, and one set action is not the solution. Lilliburn says enough is enough and the city have not done enough.
They have gone the next step to encourage the City of Stirling to get started on the wall, which they have received funding from the state government to begin.
Paige Reid, WAMN News.
The Cook Labor government has announced the chosen location for a new juvenile detention centre to house the state's highest risk young offenders, alongside the existing Banksia Hill Detention Centre. As the debate continues over how long it will take to build the facility, Peter Kennedy reveals the fastest possible time frame, although it may not garner many votes.
The state government's announcement that it will build a new juvenile detention centre, $100 million, would be welcomed widely. However, there was no time frame as far as the new facility is concerned. Minister Paul Papalia suggested it could be 5 years. The opposition, dissatisfied with that, says 1. Realistically though, let's look at it. To build a new detention centre alongside the existing facilities at Banksia Hill requires planning, requires tenders and requires construction. Realistically, 2.5 years to get the project up and running. Why doesn't the government say that? The opposition putting the pressure on, obviously, for political purposes. But the government needs to get cracking and show that it's serious about it. This is a big emotional issue, especially for those families who are affected by the juvenile detention, and especially, of course, there's a death in custody at Unit 18. Most unsatisfactory. So there's a lot of emotional involvement in this issue. There's not a huge amount of votes as far as the next state election is concerned, but the government must look to be doing something and look to be doing something concrete. At the moment, it's pretty flimsy. $100 million, but they don't know when. Voters need to know when the government plans to do this. 2.5 years is a realistic timetable for this new detention centre. The government needs to get cracking. Peter Kennedy, WAMN News.
The Dar family has started 2 parliamentary petitions following their son's death incident at Joondalup Health Campus. Toddler Sandy Pandar died at JCH earlier this year after parents raised their son's persistent fever issue with local GPs and hospital staff. The parents believed they weren't being listened to, when the post-mortem concluded the 21-month-old baby had leukemia. Both petitions will be tabled by WA Attorney General John Quigley and Labor MP Martin Pritchard.
In the first instance, our Director General, our Minister for Health, cannot force Ramsay's to conduct a SAC1 incident report because they are a private operator. That's unacceptable, because what they're doing is providing health services to the public. So they're running a public health service, but they're a private operator, and they're not subject to the rules of every other public health service that's around in West Australia. That's inappropriate, and that needs to change. However, we also know that the Premier signed a contract, a 15-year contract, a further 15-year extension to the contract only recently. That was in about June or July. And unfortunately, we are now asking for that contract to be revoked or reviewed and ensure that that Ramsay's doesn't provide any of the health services in West Australia to the public.
An Albany Library book concerning sex education has been at the centre of a debate concerning children and sex education, with the book now having gone missing. WA Health Minister Amber Jade Sanderson stated that it is an interesting debate. Ms Sanderson said that the total lack of regulation of what children can find on the internet is far more concerning than what is in a public library. The Health Minister also stated that she does not believe it is ever the government's role to censor material in libraries. The Australian Christians Lobby, on the other hand, believes that the book should be in the adult section, or a special section if the books are aimed at teenagers.
It's up to the library what they want to put into their library, and I think a library needs to reflect a broad spectrum of literature. And as I said, I'm not asking for the book to be banned, nor are the people in Albany, nor is Councillor Brough, but that's what we're being accused of wanting to ban books. All we're saying is keep them out of reach of children.
The annual Perth Royal Show concluded this weekend after 7 days of fun and entertainment at Claremont Showgrounds. Despite the cost of living crisis, thousands of West Australian families, youths and children showed up to experience the carnival. Many parents took the opportunity to educate their kids about agriculture, the origins of food, and see real farm animals at the animal nursery section. This year, the show refreshed itself with new stores, exhibitors, drone shows and fireworks. The weather also helped boost the attendance with sunny, clear skies almost every day during the show.
Once upon a time, Ivan, everyone had a aunt, grandma or someone on a farm, and they used to have farm holidays. But nowadays, life has changed and many kids haven't ever had the experience of animals, farm, produce. All those things have gone by the board a lot because of technology. I think that it's the rapport between country and city. It pays attention to the produce that we make and all we gain from our country areas, and it makes an awareness, I think, for each other of what we produce.
The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has launched separate legal proceedings against Woolworths and Coles supermarkets, alleging both supermarket giants misled consumers with deceptive discount pricing claims on hundreds of everyday products. The ACCC has accused Woolworths and Coles of breaching Australian consumer law by promoting price discounts that were not genuine. The case centres around promotions such as Woolworths' prices dropped and Coles down, which, according to the ACCC, misrepresented price reductions to shoppers. The ACCC alleges that for a variety of products, Woolworths and Coles increased their regular prices by at least 15% for a short period before lowering them again under these promotions. However, the ACCC claims that the advertised discounted prices were either higher than or equal to the regular prices that were offered before the brief price hike. The ACCC's allegations cover 266 products sold by Woolworths between September 2021 and May 2023, and 245 products sold by Coles between February 2022 and May 2023. The federal court will now determine the outcome, including potential penalties for any breach of the Australian consumer law.
And now here's Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. Welcome announcement this week that money is going to be spent on the Sir Charles Gardner Hospital Emergency Department in Perth in order to upgrade what are now pretty tired facilities there. It's amazing what a workhorse that hospital has been, along with the others across the metro. And I think that those, along with the ones outside of Perth, across our great state, have really lacked for capital expenditure over the years. Even Fiona Stanley Hospital, now more than a decade old, is starting to show signs of just exactly how much work those places are doing all the time in what is still a rapidly growing population, where during the cost of living crisis, more and more people have been relying on the public system for their healthcare. Also, of course, it's been through pandemic time and trying to catch up on ever-increasing wait lists for elective surgery, and also trying to train our future doctors and nurses, which should never be forgotten, that these teaching hospitals are the core of the future of our universal healthcare system. So access to care has been difficult in many cases because of the lack of funding for staffing for these facilities, but also because of the lack of capital investment. We're a very wealthy state, one of the wealthiest places in the world, as is shown by our record surpluses that we've been having. And we need to be investing in these because a healthy population is what we need to drive an economy and to make a contented community, which is really the ball game that the state government must be in. So welcome to see the news, but as always, we think that if we want to have a system that is as good as our population deserves, we do need more, and we need more smart investment, targeted towards all of the increased technology that we're seeing, things like robotic surgery, and also in the mental health system and the child and adolescent mental health in particular, needing lots of focus. So health is an investment. Welcome to see some money going in. Would be better to see more in the future. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Doctor. Now, speaking of the Royal Show, it's done for another year, and I can't wait for 2025.
Can't wait for 2025?
Yes, I'm going to miss all the food, the rides, the people. It's just a wonderful experience.
Father Nigel is always the big one, isn't it? Yeah. You see the rabbits, as we talked about the pigeons last week. I don't know. If you had to pick a favourite animal out of among all of them,
I would say the rabbits. Definitely the rabbits, but there's a close tie with the baby goats.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's a very hard competition, right?
Yes.
I mean, but for me, it's very simple. That one's obviously I talked about last week. Is the pigeon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the pigeon that you have it's the Jamaican pigeon.
Yes.
Where you have all the furs almost covering his head. I haven't seen anything like it, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, I haven't. This is new to the show.
I'm not sure. I don't know much about pigeons or aviary, but it is a fascinating show for that very reason. We always learn something new.
It's true. I've learned something new. That one, because that one I haven't seen before on the Royal Show. But thanks, Nigel, for bringing that to me, and it's great to see it.
And now, here's what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. The top stories we're following on 6 News. Celebrations continue after the Brisbane Lions annihilate the Sydney Swans to claim their first AFL premiership in 21 years. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah confirmed dead after an Israeli airstrike amid high tensions. And an architect looking to become councillor in what's expected to be a tight contest for Melbourne City Council in next month's local elections. You can, of course, watch us live 24/7 on our YouTube channel and our website, 6newsau.com. For now, though, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly, Paige, Peter, and myself, wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.